All right, so recording has started. Skixiatic, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our higher education programs first Friday chat for the month of December. We've had how many of these? About 10 of them. This is our last one for the calendar year. We'll start back up in January, of course, but for now, we would like to let you all know that we are recording this session. So if you are unable to participate in this session live right now with us, don't worry. We will record the session. We will have we will accompany that session with some notes and the contact information of our guest speakers. My name is Rebecca Ronstadt Contreras. I am the Higher Education Administrator, and I am very happy to have you all here. I'm going to allow for our higher ed and Salt River Schools and Salt River Community staff to introduce themselves as well, just so we all have some information on who is participating today. And then I'm going to turn it over to Ken Hackler from Mesa Community College and Camilo Quevedo from Chicanos por la Causa, CPLC. So Andrea, if you could please start us off. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrea Stanley, and I am the Higher Education Secretary. And I will pass it to Joyla.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joyla Gates, Program Advisor, also community member. Mario?
Hey, good morning, everyone. My name is Mario West. Apologize you can't see me today, but I am also a higher education advisor in the office, and I will pass it on to Danelle.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Danelle Prieto. I'm a community member, and I am also a program advisor for higher education. Thank you. I'll pass it to, who's on here?
Leroy.
Leroy.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Leroy Eswanya. I am a social services facilitator with Student Support Services in Salt River Schools.
How about Seneca?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Seneca Peters. I am the Career Services Coordinator. I work in HR in the Community Employment Division.
Wonderful. Thank you all for joining us. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Ken Hackler. Ken, thank you so much for being here and for participating in our first Friday chat.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me. I'm Ken Hackler. I'm with Mesa Community College. So I'm responsible for a program called Automated Industrial Technology. Has anybody ever seen the show on Discovery Channel, How It's Made, where they're making candy bars, toilet paper, basketballs, yes, pretty much anything, right? So our program, we teach what I call the horizontal experience for somebody to set up, maintain, repair, troubleshoot, and make minor modifications. So they would be automation technicians, equipment technicians, various terms and stuff like that. So it's a really great program. I've just been with the community college system now for almost 3 years after 35 years in industry. And without community college, I probably never would have gone to college. So I'm really enjoying, as they say, giving back, but also trying to share experience and trying to promote this opportunity. It's kind of an interesting program because it is a technician program. So people who want to be engineers, they hear technician and get turned off. And then I have other students think when they see all the equipment, it kind of scares them. So it's kind of a middle program that one thing I don't have enough is high school students. So anything we can do to promote this to high school students. 90% of my population are people who are already working. 10% are high school. I've got in my core program about 80 students, and which is up. I only had 20 when I started 2.5 years ago at Mesa. And I could probably put 300 to 500 people to work each year. We have so much demand from the industry base, but the supply. And so anything we can do to help educate high school students how great of an opportunity this is, and that's what I hope to do today. It's not going to advance on me. Oh. There we go. So I have a little, this is kind of the agenda I have. I'll try not to make it too arduous and long. But so CTE programs, overall, just all of Maricopa Community College, we have a lot of great programs and a lot of great CTE. My program is offered at Mesa. They also have the program out at Australia. So that's the only two locations the Automated Industrial Technology, or AIT, is offered at. Mesa, we are the largest of the 10 community colleges for in-person. Rio Saladas has a lot of students, but they're primarily online. But these are just a few of our CTE programs, and there's more than that. So there's a lot of great opportunities, and I know a gentleman going after is going to talk about we don't need 4-year degrees. In many cases, certifications get great opportunities. Associates is always good too, but just some of these certifications, people are getting offered really great salaries. We have an awesome 3D lab. We have an amazing welding department. It's as you go to like Lincoln Welding, and they'll charge you $12,000, and to get to full associates, it's $8,000. The certifications are less than $4,000 to us. Same thing with automotive. A lot of the computer science activities. We do Cisco Academy training. All the things you would go pay thousands and thousands of dollars more than what we are, because the community colleges is inexpensive, because we're like K through 12. 62% of our funding comes from property tax. So we're $85 a credit versus $500 a credit, like in a 4-year college or some of these other independent, privately run institutions that charge significantly more. This is my contact. I will send this to you if you'd like this presentation. I can send a PDF version so that has the information if you want to send that out. We have dedicated for our for a lot of our CT type programs and around manufacturing stuff, we have dedicated advisors, which is really nice because normally when you call into the front desk, you really don't get people who understand how to really help a student be successful and navigate them through the different type of CTE programs. I have a little, just to show an idea of what an automated system is. So this is an eyedrop machine. And the entire thing is automated. And what it's showing is the bottle is coming in. This is a startup. It's not actually active. It shows that they're filling the eye drop bottle. This is what's called an HMI human machine interface. So it has pictures or charts how you run the machine. And then the machine is going to show a few more parts of how they put the drops in. And then as it comes around, inserting the eyedropper, and then the machine putting the caps on. So when I go to high schools, I have this presentation. I show a couple different ones, and this one I won't show, but it's a robotic line, because automotive lines now are 99% automated. So yes, we have displaced manual assembly, but there's a lot higher paying jobs out there to maintain this equipment. The type of work and positions, these are some of the names of the roles somebody might have. Industrial automation, robotics. They troubleshoot, repair, and maintain, and make minor modifications. Pretty much every industry. So this equipment, whether you're making the candy bar or you're doing the water treatment at the end, or petrochemical, food and beverage distribution, starting salaries are 24, 28. And my students are getting offered that even without the associates. Most companies do prefer the associates, especially larger companies such as even Semiconductor. But the Semiconductor are starting to take people which is going to be talked about a little more in depth later, from our boot camps that we're doing. I have students that don't even have their associates left, that are after a couple years are getting salaries up in $80,000 a year while they're continuing on with their associates, as their companies are paying for them. And these positions, any company that has automated equipment is going to have great benefits, because they're larger organizations. They're not a mom and pop shop, right? That are producing whatever we might be making, anything from candy bars to sodas and anything of those natures. So why would somebody want to do this? They like technology, but they want to be hands-on. This is a hands-on type of role. You're working on equipment, you're setting it up, but you're producing a product that helps people. You're producing food, you're producing medical devices, you're producing something that we all need. And you don't want to spend 4 to 5 years getting an engineering degree. A lot of people, I always joke, I need to find out all the people that dropped out of the engineering program at ASU and U of A's, and then get them in this program because they find out they don't want to go all the way through Calc 3 and Physics 3. Great here, long, great financial stability, and it's led to other roles. So my first job while I was going to community college, I was changing oil and machines and machine tools. And then I went on, after continuing my education, become a vice president at multiple companies. So a lot of great different opportunities to expand as you stay. But I still have people that I know that have stayed technical and like to work on the equipment still after 30 years. This is our lab at our main lab, but we have equipment in multiple rooms. I have $2.5 billion of equipment, all acquired through multiple grants over the last like 6 years. Even though I've only been at Mesa like 2.5 years. But since I've been here, I've acquired another $1.5 million of a grant. And the most recently is through this Semiconductor QuickStart program that we're doing. We got $1.6 million through the state, in addition to some equipment that was purchased by Intel to kick us off for that program to train entry-level technicians. This is some of the equipment students will be working on. So this is our first electrical course. And these are 3 different training stations that teach them anywhere from basic electrical theory to what's called relay control. And they actually wire up a panel like they would out in the real world trying to troubleshoot if it doesn't work properly. This is another where they learn about motors and learn about 3-phase, so higher voltage type of equipment that is actually would be on industrial systems. This is what's called a PLC. It's a programmable logic controller. This is the industrial computer that runs all that equipment you'd see on how it's made. It's a small version of it, but they go through and they learn how to do basic programming, what's called ladder logic, and then troubleshooting. What's really great about this program is that we have 10 core classes, and every one of those classes, students learn basic theory, so it's not engineering level, it's at technician level. Then the labs that we have set up through Amatrol, this company who we use all their systems and their learning management system. It's like hand over hand, so they learn competencies, and then you have to design circuits, so it's like an add-on to it. And then 7 of the 10 courses have troubleshooting. This little USB port here, actually this software called Fault Pro injects faults into it. So Sumco is a smaller semiconductor most people have never heard of in the North Valley. They hired a couple of my students and came back 2 months later and hired 5 more because they were shocked how well they were troubleshooting without having any previous experience before. They said they were doing better than people they'd hired with 3 to 5 years experience. And it's because of the program we have, and then everybody teaching in our program at Mesa, the least experience is 13 years of actual industry experience. So that also helps to give relevance to the students versus just the books and playing with an industrial trainer. So we bring in real world experience to that too. This is what's called a process control system. So if you're at a water treatment plant, or you're making chemicals, or you're making oil and gas, or even in like bio, which is where you'd make not pharmaceutical, but bio, like if you're making what's that, Botox and stuff like that, they use equipment like this. So we have one course in that to prepare somebody if they were going in that type of industry. Or even HVAC was this is components that are used in those areas. Our mechanical systems. So even though we have training stations, like in this class, at the end of the course, I have to learn how to manually do it. They use laser alignment tools. I know of at least a dozen companies that use the exact same laser alignment tools, and this is how they line up the motor and the shafts, whatever they're controlling. So we're really preparing them to go and, right out of the box, hopefully able to contribute at a significant level at any employer they go to. They're not going to know the machine. They're not going to go the semiconductor machine. They're not going to know the conveying system. They're not going to know the injection molding machine. But all the things that build up to work on that, they're going to learn in this program. Hydraulics systems. So you have 3 different type of power sources when you're controlling equipment: pneumatics, which is air; hydraulics, which is a fluid; and then electrical motors. Most of them are electrical motors, but the reason you have 3 different ones, if you need to crush stuff and press things, you need a lot of power, and that's what hydraulics does. Pneumatics is inexpensive, fast, and also it's not explosive. So I don't know how many people lived here their whole life. Remember when TRW airbag first opened up in the 80s, they were having an explosion out there every couple of weeks. So you don't want to use electrical motors in a deal where you might have some propellant like that. They've since changed what the product is in the airbag, so it doesn't blow up quite as often. But that's some of the reasons why you have different type of power sources to control equipment. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. And here's a pneumatic system, an air control system. This is actually one of the troubleshooting stations. So we have equipment that's dedicated where they learn how to put the circuits together, and then they have ones where it injects the faults into it, and they have to go and figure out what's going on and then solve the problems. This is for our capstone class. This one piece of equipment is $250,000, so it incorporates everything. It's got pneumatics, hydraulics, electrical. It's got a robot on it. And so that's what we would do for like the associate's degree capstone. These are a picture of some of our robots. So we have 2 robotic classes. One is required for the certifications. This is a universal cobot, actually universal robots, but it's a cobot, meaning it works next to people. So our robots and our equipment, they're actually industrial based. There's over 40 companies that have this robot. Most of them have a bigger version of it. We have a small version that are in plants right here in the valley. Myself and Brian, the other instructor, are certified by this company to teach the class. And if somebody gets at least a 75% in the final, which is actually through Universal Robots, they get the same certification that Brian and I got when we took the training from them. From them, the class is over $2,000. Through the community college, it's like $300, and they get an actual certification. And then the second one is FANUC, which is a industrial-based one you see putting cars together and stuff. I've just finished up the certification for that. So the same thing, the student would pay over $2,000, and it would be about, it was a little bit more expensive because we have to buy some training material from them. And if they pass that course, they also get a educational certification for that. So those are really significant things. If somebody going out in industry to have this, people will send, companies will send their employees to these companies to get trained on these robots. This is kind of a picture, just some pictures of the lab. That's a hydraulic equipment. There's those mechanical training stations. And we just got this new lab the summer before last, so we had 301 prop money, and finally it'd been sitting there, I guess, for a few years, and they finally got our lab put together. So it's a very nice facility, nice classrooms. And here's these robots are actually in a different room now. It's been remodeled. And these are more of the hydraulic stations. We do a lot of stand-up, and then we have suitcase versions because they're able to store down, so we're able to have more equipment. This is a suitcase version of the hydraulic equipment that was stand-up. So type of degrees and transfer options. Certificate of completions, and one is 5 courses. It's really 6. There's a safety online course you have to take. The second one is the next 5 courses. Then we have mini certifications. An example of one is robotics. We also have many certifications in this cable harness class that we do. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. So we have some of these boot camps, QuickStart courses through our program too. And then there's the associate's degree. My program, just like automotive, welding, and stuff like that, it actually does not transfer to like an ASU or U of A in any type of a engineering program. But NAU offers an industrial leadership, which is a great program for somebody who would want to go on and be, in a leadership role in whether you're in automotive or you're in automation, welding, 3D printing, stuff like that. And you get to take 90 of the credits through the community college. So you get your associates, let's say. You do 30 more credits at the community college. Then 30 credits are at NAU's cost, but you actually can take those courses either online or at Mesa. I think Australia. I think there's 3 or 4 of ours that actually offer that. So you can go on and continue to get that, which is a great succession plan for next step. So here are the courses. Whoop, I jumped ahead on me. The first certification, we have a safety class. We have this is modern maintenance, where they learn about hand tools. They learn about how to lift things properly. They learn how to fill out a maintenance ticket. And then the mechanical class, where they're actually doing hands-on. That was those laser alignment tools I talked about. Then you got hydraulics, pneumatics. Then you got the electrical, introduction electrical. Then we actually get into what's called power electronics, variable frequency drives. That's what runs all the motors on all the systems you see. And then there's that PLC, which is that industrial controller, the process one I was talking about in, like in chemical plants and stuff. And then we've got a higher level electrical, and then the robotics, which I just showed a moment ago, are the 2 certifications. And then if you go on to get your associate's degree, you've got to do a couple other required courses, and then there's some restrictive electives. Some other courses we have, they're QuickStart / boot camps. So before I came here, a couple classes have been developed. So we do a soldering certification that has a third-party certification that there's not a lot of these, board level development now is all automated or it's embedded in chips, but there's still a lot of repair facilities out there. So we train people to solder and repair board level items for like these companies who are servicing electronic equipment. I have a number of students who have done that course and also the wire harness course I'll talk about in a moment, and gotten a job, and then they've come back and taken the other AIT courses and then gotten a higher level job. So it's got a great step level where you can come in, get a job, and do other things and continue on to increase your knowledge. We also have a composites course that's actually taught at Chandler Gilbert. It's the only location we do that, and that's where they're going and repairing like a fiberglass that would be on, let's say, an airplane or something like that. It's actually there's an A&P program that's out at Chandler Gilbert for air plant and plane repair. So they do that out there. Then we have a cable harness class that we partnered with a number of years ago with Boeing. And so a lot of the Apache helicopter, the cable harnesses are still built by hand. So we also, this is a third party certification, and if they pass that, then they get an interview with Boeing. There's a few other companies we're partnering with that had an opportunity there too. So the composites, this wiring harness, and then this industrial technology for semiconductor, they're all actually 2-week classes, like a boot camp style. But the soldering is actually a semester based, 8 weeks rather, a half a semester. We just partnered this last year. I was the lead faculty working with Intel and 3 of our colleges to offer this industrial technology for semiconductor. I think everybody's aware. You got TSMC up north that is building a new fab. Intel's adding a lot of other expansion with the CHIP Acts and stuff like that. So we partnered primarily with Intel. We also worked with TSMC, and we have an industry council with all the semiconductors, and we put together this QuickStart / boot camp to introduce. It's kind of a 2-part. It introduces students to what a technician level may look like working for a semiconductor company, and there's some other things around problem solving, lean. So we do a number of other things. And then it's also kind of a workforce verification, because the students are coming here just like these other boot camps and dedicating 2 weeks of their life. In this course, they actually have about 12 to 15 hours of outside work. So somebody who's doing that is going to be a better entry level person. So semiconductor over the next 5 years is going to be hiring thousands of people, and this program is very instrumental in that. We got started a little early than we wanted last year when the first lady came here and announced it. We actually weren't ready to go, and all of a sudden 2 weeks later we had 1,000 people on the wait list. So we've trained about 280 people so far. We're still working on the numbers, how many people have got hired, and then we're continuing these classes on next year. That particular one is not an open enrollment like the other ones of these boot camps where you can just go and sign up to college. You actually have to go through a pre-test, and you sign up, and then you get in a wait list for that. But these are great opportunities to help people get started and get an entry-level position at a major company that has great benefits and long-term opportunities. This is just a little bit expanded view of what I was showing of the other stuff. We also use a third-party organization, NIMS. It's a metalworking, but it's out of the Midwest, but it doesn't have to be per se metalworking. But all of our courses, the competencies and the outline and the objectives all came from this third-party organization that had surveyed hundreds of companies of what type of skill sets people need to be able to work on this automated equipment. And so in addition to our certifications, our students take tests as part of their finals for certain classes. And if they pass that, they have additional certifications for their resume. And this is just a list of small of many companies that we work with here in the Valley. Questions? I know it was a big dump of information pretty quickly there.
Thank you so much. That's a lot of really wonderful information, and I'm happy to see that there are pathways for individuals who might want to go a little further outside of getting a certification. Does anyone on this current call have any questions for Ken? So Ken, it sounds like you are looking to recruit high school students, is that correct?
High school students and high school students and pretty much anybody that isn't aware of what this is, right?
Okay, yeah.
So we're looking at doing a lot of stuff with a lot of nonprofits. So high schools are great, but even people who are, young adults or even later in their career that just don't know about it. Most of my students actually come to us because they heard from somebody else that actually is in the industry, or maybe they're working a production job and they go, well, what are these people over here doing? They're working on all the equipment, and they find out how much they're making. So we do not do a good job in the West Coast of educating people about CTE opportunities. We don't. People know about automotive, they know about computer programming, know about IT, right? But all these other ones, there's tons of fabulous opportunities.
Can you talk a little bit about what CTE means?
Career and technical education.
Okay.
Career and technical education. So it's around anything that is normally hands-on up to even like IT. IT is also part of CT. So welding, automotive, 3D printing, my program, machining, like people who run machine tools to make parts, our veterinarian program, early childhood, actually, they consider it as CTE too, which it's kind of, I don't know if it's anything, but so anything where it's hands-on and stuff like that.
Thank you. Looks like Mr. Mario West has a question.
Just a quick question. How do we know which certifications that federal financial aid can be used on?
Anything that has over, it has to have over a certain number of credits. So like, I think it's 12, it has to be over 12 credits, 10 or 12 credits to be federally, like if somebody's VA or something like that, for it to be paid for. So if somebody wanted, let's say, the robotic certification, which is a standalone certification, you only have to have our safety class for that. What somebody would do is they would declare a major for the AIT overall program, and then they could go take those 2 classes and continue on. Does that make sense? You have to declare a major for a certification or a degree that's at least 12 credits or something like that. So if they declared only robotics certification, it wouldn't count because it's a total of 7 credits, I think, or something like that. It's 10 or 12. Okay. I'd have to find out. I can ask one of our advisors and get that to you, so I don't lie to you.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ken. We really appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
I know you have a department meeting to head off to, so we appreciate you taking the time to meet with us this morning.
If you have any other questions, and I'll do a PDF version of this presentation, send it over to you, and I'll find out the answer on that question also.
Perfect. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. All right, you too. Okay, so now we have Mr. Camilo Quevedo, correct? And he is with Chicanos por la Causa, CPLC, which is a nonprofit. And I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you so you can talk a little bit about your program and what you have to offer individuals. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And yes, I think that was a great introduction to some of the things that we're promoting. Yeah, so my name is Camilo. We're Chicanos por la Causa. We are a nonprofit. We're over 5 different states. We've been around for over 50 years now. So we're very established in the community. And I'm specifically with the Workforce Solutions program. Our role really is to be able to empower the youth through work. So how can we really affect those 18 to 24-year-olds that might just be wandering around and be able to actually provide them, okay, here's a great opportunities or great pathways for you to get work, get careers, and actually get started moving towards the future that you probably want to build anyways. So how can we help you with that process? And to help you with that, and what Ken shared with you is part of what I'm going to be sharing here today, or some of the opportunities that are available for the students for them to take advantage of. And so what we do, like I mentioned, is really to empower our youth through employment. And ultimately, one of the challenges that we see with a lot of the youth is that college itself is being promoted so strongly, but it doesn't really apply to everyone, which creates that sense on students of either, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, or this decision is way too big for me, or that's just not the path for me, so I don't have a path. If it's not college, then I don't know what to do with my life. I don't know how I was presented to you, but I know when I was growing up in my life, it was either you go to college or good luck working at McDonald's. That's were like the two options that were presented to me. So then I just had to go to college, and that was the case. And college reality is not for everyone, especially depending on what the goals actually are. So programs like the ones that Ken was promoting or letting you know about do a really good job at catching those who want to do something, who want to pursue a career, who want to be able to work and get ahead, but college doesn't really apply to them or doesn't really want them, that they're really excited about. So reality is the idea to go to college is to start a career, to get a job, get a high paying job, which is what most students want, and well, what we all want is to find a career that gives us the money that we're looking for. So what we do is, how do we get people skills and talent to ultimately be able to get into those jobs? So what kind of skills are needed right now in the marketplace that are getting paid good pay with good companies, and how do the students acquire these skills that is not going through the 4-year process or through the student loan process, so that they have to wait 4 years to work and they have to start work with a lot of student debt. So that's the challenge that we're trying to fit. How do you get trained right away so that you can get started? How do we reduce the cost of that education, getting that proper training, so that you don't have to start your working life already behind in debt? The other issues that we found, a lot of people, with a lot of students talking about college, is that there's no guarantees. Is that you can put all these 4 years of work, you can put all this money into it, and there's no guarantees for them of what am I gonna do next. So finding how can we guarantee as much as we can job opportunities, or with good companies, or even with high paying starting salaries. Right now, a lot of companies are requiring college degrees and starting with really low pay. So this is the challenge that we've been, that at Chicanos in the Workforce Solutions, how can we eliminate these challenges for the students to get them involved in the workforce, get them good jobs, and get them started in their career? And that's where the Maricopa Community Colleges come into it. Ken talk about some of the programs that they have. I'm going to focus on 2 of them today, which are 10-day QuickStart programs. He mentioned the partnership that they have with Intel. So they have a semiconductor technician program, and they also have a partnership with Boeing for a cable harness wiring program. So it's only 10 days. So it's not going to be a 4-year training. It's 10 days, 4 hours a day for 2 weeks. So it's Monday to Friday, 4 hours a day, and that's it. At the end of those 2 weeks, they do get a certification, and they guarantee you an interview with either Intel or with Boeing, depending on which program you get to. He mentioned that the Intel just got started. The one with Boeing has been running for about 4 years now, and they have a 95% completion rate and a 90% hiring rate. So out of 90% of those who completed, they get hired, which is incredible, an incredible number. So obviously we cannot say guaranteed, but when it comes to us guaranteed, we can say 90% is as close to that as we can possibly think. He mentioned that always is through the community colleges. So you get 3 college credits for going through these programs. And 3 college credits is $270 right now. Once you go through the program, the companies actually give you a stipend back and give you the money back. So technically, these programs are free. So it's $270 to sign up to college to take 3 college credits, but the companies will give you the money back at the end of it. They guarantee you the interview with a successful, so it's not like get the certificate and then you're on your own to go find a job. Is get a certificate and we put you in place in front of 2 of the major companies within those fields to be able to get hired with really high hiring rates. So the interviews, I mean, again, 2 of the biggest companies, with the semiconductor one, it will be Intel or TSMC, which right now between the 2 is a $26 billion investment right here in Phoenix. Intel is doing the $14 billion facility in Mesa, and TSMC is building the $12 billion facility in North Phoenix. They're calculating there's going to be about 12,000 jobs needed within the semiconductor industry within the next 5 years or so. So there's going to be a lot of people looking for these type of certificates with great opportunities. And both of them, they will start up between $20 to $25 an hour plus benefits. So again, 10 days of training for free. They guarantee you the interview with very high hiring rate, and they start them off between $20 to $25 an hour, which the way that I see it is always like an 18-year-old making $45,000 to $50,000 a year in their first job for only having to go 10 days of training. I've never heard of anything like that. So for me, that's an incredible opportunity for them to pursue and for them to be able to take advantage of. What I really enjoy or really like about these opportunities, besides the obvious ones, is the benefits part of both companies, because both companies have a really good college reimbursement benefit or tuition reimbursement benefit. So even if somebody's trying to think college, so maybe somebody's actually wanted to do college and become an engineer or pursue the more technical route, but still get a college degree, these programs actually do have a really good college reimbursement program. If it's within the field that obviously will benefit this company, so engineering, mathematics, science, technology, computing, anything that these companies actually could benefit from, those companies actually have full reimbursement tuition. So the way that I see it, I present it to the students is usually, hey, look, there's two routes. You can go the college route. You can study for the next 4 years, get your degree, and then try to get into a company like this with your student debt so that you can start paying your student debt. The other route is, why don't you get into the company right away, spend 10 days, get into the company, start working and building your resume, building your career experience with a great company in a good job while you get paid a really good salary. And while you're there, look around and see and learn what do you actually want to do. Ask them what you need to get that and start getting them to pay your education to get there. So it's two completely, ultimately you're gonna get where you wanna get, it's just a different route to get there. Why don't you get the good job to begin with and then work yourself up the corporate ladder or get the education paid for by them while you're getting paid a proper salary in the process. So these two programs, like I said, they're really good programs for the students, for them to take advantage of. I had a video, I think I managed to get it work. Please let me know there if you actually cannot hear. I think I've managed to fix it, but if not, that's okay. Can you hear it?
No, we can't hear it, but
all right, perfect. That's okay.
We can see it.
You can see it. All right, let me see if I can. Oh, there you go. Let me see if you can hear it. Okay, 1 second here.
It's the most sophisticated
yes, we can
manufacturing process in the world, and it's probably the most automated manufacturing process in the world. And so that in itself is challenging. We're always on the cutting edge. Our wafers are 12 inches in diameter, and we move 25 of them at a time in a box. And it just weighs too much for one person to do repetitive moves, so we had to automate it. When we talk about the vehicles, it's part of our AMHS system, our Automated Material Handling System. It's the transportation vehicle that picks up the product and delivers it to the process tool. It takes it from the process tool and delivers it to the next process tool. If the tool's not ready, it puts it in a storage unit. We keep track of the priority of what needs to move where first. We know where all the product is in the factory at any given time. In the old days, if our automation went down, it probably wasn't as important. The factory still ran. But today, if major parts of our automation system goes down, the factory stops. I think what excites me about what Intel does is the computing capabilities that we make possible that make people's lives better and more enriching.
Fox 10's Nicole Garcia tonight shows us how Arizona residents can access a 10-day training course to qualify for some entry-level semiconductor factory jobs at no cost. By the way, the average pay for those jobs is more than twice Arizona's minimum wage.
Preparing for a job on the new assembly line. It's a huge process to create a tiny chip. that's essential to nearly every piece of technology. Semiconductors make the use of nearly every piece of technology possible, from smartphones to computers, medical equipment, and vehicles.
Intel approached us, along with some other semiconductor companies, to develop this course.
Chandler Gilbert Community College is one of 3 campuses offering a boot camp style course designed to train future semiconductor processing technicians.
Sure. So the last 2 weeks, Monday through Friday, 4 hours a day, and that's 40 hours of training. Sort some disks.
Ultimately, graduates are expected to be ready to pass 2 certification tests. There's already more than 1,300 people on the waiting list just to get into the Semiconductor Technician QuickStart program.
You're going to get the basics like how to use hand tools. You're going to learn pneumatics, hydraulics, electronics.
The only prerequisite is being accepted into one of the Maricopa Community Colleges. Instructors are current employees in the semiconductor industry. This class is being taught by an equipment technician at Intel.
You're manufacturing that, so you'll have a piece of equipment that you're responsible for. And your job is just to make sure that that one section, that one step in making that microchip gets done correctly, and then it moves on to the next step. So it's really broken down into thousands of small parts.
It's a team experience from the beginning. It's not an individual learning experience.
And one unique requirement for this job, you have to be able to wear this uniform at work all day long.
So to keep your particles from your human body from getting into the factory, we need to put on a bunny suit.
Semiconductor technicians work in clean rooms where airborne particles are restricted.
As we're building the microchip, if there's a hair inside there, it will create connections electrically that we don't want and could short out the chips.
Arizona leads the nation in pay for these positions. Intel and Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company alone are expected to create more than 3,000 jobs at their new factories. Intel is building 2 new plants in Chandler, and TSMC is building a new plant in Far North Phoenix. TSMC is expected to begin production in 2024 and push out around 20,000 wafers a month. The wafer is a slice of silicon that serves as the foundation of the microchip.
Entry-level pay, for an apprentice, very entry-level, is $20 to $25 an hour. Average pay is over $30 an hour, so they just work up from there.
The entry-level job of this generation is still similar to working at a fast food joint in that workers will be part of an assembly line. But instead of flipping burgers, technicians are processing tiny electronic parts to end the global chip shortage and quench the world's appetite for the latest technologies.
Return air handler, which then puts the clean air back through the bay again.
Tuition for the QuickStart program could potentially cost nothing. Students that successfully pass the certification tests will receive a $270 stipend. That's the full cost of tuition. I'm Nicole Garcia, Fox 10 News.
The desert rewards only the resilient and hardy. Boeing Mesa sticks out among the saguaro and vistas. A welcome oasis. And no desert mirage. Those who build helicopters go there to thrive. They assemble Apaches and little birds under multi-hued skies, painting the landscape with promise and pride. Arizona-made helicopters do what others cannot. They connect, protect, explore, and inspire a world in need and on guard. The Apache is the guardian, named for a proud Southwest people who protected their land. 2 centuries later, the attack helicopter stands resolute, dominating the skies. Little Bird is the agile younger brother, always looking out for others. A light helicopter, carrying heavy responsibility. In the Valley of the Sun, Resourceful employees do more than build rotorcraft. They make dreams take flight. Help us reach for the stars and make the world a more secure place. Here, amidst the unforgiving desert, newly assembled helicopters disappear over the horizon. Their destination, anywhere and everywhere. Boeing Mesa teams deliver on a promise of building something better. Giving the world an outstretched hand, a firm grip, an always timely vertical lift.
Watching the Apache helicopter fly is amazing. What I do is a part of that. It started with the wire harness class at MCC. I got the interview with Boeing, and now I have a start to my career.
The days of signing up for a 2-year program, a 4-year program, a 6-year program are gone. Students want to get trained and they want to work quickly. And luckily, because of the partnership with MCC and Boeing, we've been able to create exactly that.
Boeing approached Mesa Community College wanting to find solutions so that we could produce technicians in the electrical wiring and harness. This skill set was one where they needed 450 in the next 2.5 years.
And we created that class for them. So now the result is a great partnership between Boeing and MCC that's produced some great results. The harness wiring bootcamp for Boeing started in 2019. Our students are in the class for 9 days, 4 hours a day, and after that, they have the opportunity to interview at Boeing, and if they check off all their boxes, then they could be working at Boeing within 30 to 60 days after they complete the bootcamp. So really, it is a holistic experience for students.
For the first week or so, it was all just learning out of the book, learning the proper technique, and then the second week of class was actually the hands-on part of the learning.
I've always done jobs with my hands, so something like this seemed really intriguing to me and didn't seem as difficult.
I believe it is very important to have Boeing staff actually teach the class because it's very beneficial to have somebody who's in the industry teach you how to do everything properly.
I've learned a lot in this class, a lot that I never really knew before. I feel like it will help me when I start the job at Boeing, that it won't be as difficult as I thought it would be.
The success of the class really has 3 legs. 1, the culture and the employability skills. 2, pass the certification. And 3, to be able to appropriately do an electrical wiring harness that meets Boeing standards.
I had a great experience taking the wire harness class at MCC. I learned a lot, went through a lot of information, and really got to work hands-on building a harness and learning how to do so. While I was doing my training to learn how to strip, crimp, and lug wires here at Boeing, I then took more classes to learn about torque, to learn about sealant, and to learn about solder, to make sure I had the right tools and knowledge for the job that I needed to perform. The skills we learned in the wire harness class at MCC were easily transferable because we used the same tools and we used a very similar method to laying wire on a pegboard as they do here at Boeing. The pegboard is the table used to lay out the harness. They can be over 100 feet long, and we need to make sure that the wires are routed to the correct spots to be terminated. Once each wire harness is complete, it is loaded onto a cart and transferred to the assembly line to be loaded onto each Apache helicopter. The work we do here is very important because I know that each and every component I work on goes into a helicopter and helps save lives around the world. In just a few months, my whole life changed, starting with the wire harness class at MCC, the interview with Boeing, and now I have a career for life.
9 days. That's what you need to give for this boot camp to change your life.
Get in touch with MCC. We'll look at the dates and we'll get you going, and hopefully it's the start of a great career for you.
So those were the 2 of those programs that Ken kind of mentioned before that they have. So there's great opportunities for really anybody that has 18 years of age, that has a high school diploma or a GED, and is eligible to work in the US. If they have those 3 requirements, they can participate on this. So obviously seniors will be a great group of people to start promoting this for. But even if you have students or somebody that just graduated or already graduated high school or got their GED, for them to start looking into these programs as well. Now, for us as Chicanos por la Causa, what we do first is awareness, make sure that as many students know about these type of programs and this type of path towards their career. But we also then put ourselves in between the student and the program to find what does the student needs to be able to be successful. So what roadblocks they could have that will stop them from participating or being successful in the program, and then how can we help them overcome those obstacles and actually be able to participate. So that goes from learning about the mock interviews, resume building, the application assistance. Ken mentioned that they have to do like a test to be able to get into those programs. So we will help them with that as well. If they need to complete their GED, we can help with the GED prep and get that GED passed. Enrollment, assistant, if they need help with transportation, we can help with that as well. So our job with Chicanos is how can we help you take advantage of these opportunities so that you can be successful with them. Now, right now, those programs are running about once a month. There's a couple of them that run more than a couple of months where they run twice a month. But for the most part, they're running once a month. The Intel one, I think they've managed to bring that wait list from 1,300. I think right now they're more like around 600 to 500 still in it. The one for cable harness wiring with Boeing, that one doesn't have a wait list, so students can go into that one right away. But that's kind of what I wanted to share with you. If you want to learn more information, you can scan the code right there that you see on the screen, or go to tinyurl.com at CPLCBR. That will get us in contact with you, and we'll be able to find out, okay, what do you need? How can we help you take advantage of that? Obviously, you can reach out to me, and I'll be able to help you with that aspect as well. But ultimately, the idea is how can we get this in front of as many students so that they can learn about these opportunities and really start their career in a different path. I sometimes I even do the math for them. Like I said, they start between $20 to $25 an hour. And I usually tell them, like, if you become average, don't become the best, but just become average. You do enough work to become an average worker. The average semiconductor technician can go up to $65,000 to $70,000 a year, and that's just average. So it's a great way for them to start. I mean, really, that could be a 18 to 20-year-old making $65,000 a year on their first job, just having to put 10 days of training into their work. Now, I know I try to cover as much as I can here, but is there any questions, any thoughts, or anything that you might be thinking that might be able to help you with?
This is fantastic information, Camilo. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And we do have a lot of individuals who are a little hesitant to start college right away, right after high school, and then even some who just aren't quite sure that they want to commit the 2 years or the 4 years. And even though that's what we do here in the higher ed program, we are also responsible for connecting our community members to opportunities such as this one. This is just fantastic. Thank you so much. I do have a quick question. Have you heard from any students? Have you worked with any students who have started the program, gone through the program, received the certification, and are now working? And if so, how has their experience been?
For what I've heard, I personally haven't been able to connect with one directly.
Mhm.
For what I heard, is a pretty straightforward. It's kind of like, it is what it is.
Yep.
It's not like I said, like usually the idea of college is like, it's this great thing, but just a few people get it. Like, this is just like a very straightforward program. So with the cable harness program, is you need to learn how to measure cables, how to follow the map, and how to connect the ends. That's kind of like 60 to 70% of the job.
Wow.
So it's very straightforward, like anybody can do it. You don't have to come with any background of technology. Like Ken mentioned it, like a lot of people see these machines and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know any of it. It's like, well, yeah, you never studied for this. You're not supposed to come into these programs knowing how to do them. That's what they're gonna train you for.
Wow.
And this is a different approach, which is like these companies need you to learn one skill, and they're gonna teach you that one skill.
And then they're going to
College
get
is
you a
gonna make you a
job.
very well-rounded person,
Mhm,
and you're gonna
mhm.
know many different things about many different subjects within a field. These programs is we need you to learn how to do one thing and do that thing well, and then we're gonna hire you to do that one thing for the company.
Wow.
And once you're in those companies, I mean, those are worldwide companies. It's like, then it's up to you what you want to do with that.
Sure,
Like
sure.
you put your foot inside a company that can truly take you anywhere. Then it's up to you to then network, learn about what else can you learn about diplomas that you can get within the company or other certifications that you can learn that increase your job, your pay. But once you're in, then it's like I always say, it's like for students right now, they usually don't know who Intel is or who Boeing is. It's like, just think that you can get your foot into Google, or just think that you can get your foot into Microsoft. Like once you're in, then you can really take that anywhere you want to go to. Intel and Boeing are like the Googles of their fields or the Microsoft of their fields. Like they are the best at what they do. So once you're in, then it's up to you to like go take that from there, and you're starting. I mean, I tell also, it's like a lot of people work 10 to 20 years to get to $50,000 a year. You could do that in 10 days as your first job, starting there. That could be just starting place, and then you can move up from there.
Fantastic.
So yeah.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, this is how this tiny URL or this code will take us to a survey, correct? Or a Google Doc.
Yes.
And people can sign up for more information there. How else can people apply for these types of opportunities or learn more about other partnerships that CPLC has in place that might be similar to this, or learn about CPLC Workforce?
Perfect. So if you go to cplcworkforce.org, you're going to be able to find kind of all we do. But even if you have somebody that is like, I just really like, I want to find something more like that, but those two might not be exactly what I want. In that form, they're going to ask you, which one do you want? You want this one or that one? If you don't click any one, but you can click like, but I want career advisement. We'll follow up with you and say, okay, these are not good for you. So what are you actually looking for? What kind of guidance do you want? How can we help you be successful, even if it's not these two programs? So I don't know, you want to do a beautician, you want to go into beauty school, you want to become a truck driver, you want to become like, what is it that you want to do? And then we'll help you get there. We can help you find internships within that field. Like these two programs, obviously, for me personally, it's like they're just like no-brainers. Go for it. But even if it's like I want something like that, but not exactly that, just let us know. Just when you fill out the form and we reach out to you, like, hey, what are you interested in? Just let us know. This is what I'm looking for, and then we'll do the work to find how can we help you accomplish that.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And, we offer similar services here, higher education, community employment, obviously, with Mr. Seneca Peters and all of our higher ed staff here. But we do understand that not everyone lives within the proximity. And so some of you who are watching this right now might live a little closer to wherever Camilo is and the CPLC Workforce Solutions group. So we just want to connect the bridges and get everyone as many opportunities and information as possible. Thank you so much, Camilo, for joining us in our first Friday chat. Again, this session has been recorded and will be posted probably by December 5th. I'm not making any promises, but most likely by December 5th. And we thank you so much for joining us. For anyone who's watching this live or watching later, we do wish you a wonderful holiday season. Higher education program staff will be here throughout the month of December, with the exception on days that the community offers us the time to spend with our families and friends and enjoy the holiday season. But we do wish you all the best. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact our office. Thank you again, Camilo, so much. And thank you, everyone else who is on this call. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you. Thanks. Same to you. Bye, everyone.